Ibrahim alongside Calvin Wetzel, and we are electrified by what has happened tonight. A great evening of basketball, a lot to get into with everything that happened. A lot of unexpected stuff happened, some bad news, some good news, but really just some amazing basketball. So Calvin, how you feeling? How you doing? It's about 11:21 on the East Coast right now. But I'm jazzed up. I'm hyped. Let's do it.
I'm feeling great. A shout out to Scott Van Pelt. I'm not tired yet. Let's talk some
Yeah.
hoops tonight, Gabe.
All night we're gonna do the hoops. So we got it. We got a couple great games to get into here. We have Shay Jennings in the back, doing the clickety clacks, the tappity tips to make everything happen here on Twitter and YouTube. We hope you guys are following along on the Her Hoop Stats Twitter at Her Hoop Stats. You can follow us also on YouTube, Instagram, the whole shebang bang. You can follow me on Twitter at Gabe_Ibrahim. You can follow Calvin on Twitter at CWetzel31. Got it right.
Nailed it.
All right, perfect. Now with all the compulsory stuff out of the way, Calvin, let's start with talking about the second game. We're gonna do it in reverse chronological order, just because that second game. Okay, no, Shay gave us the face. We're gonna do first game first. We're gonna do first game first. She's the producer. She's our engine here. She's our engine. So we're gonna do the first game first. We're gonna start off with the Las Vegas Aces winning Game 2 of their WNBA semifinals matchup against the Connecticut Sun, 83-75. And the place we have to start, well, there's two places we have to start. We're going to start with Alyssa Thomas. She got injured in the first quarter. Looked like some sort of shoulder injury. We know she's had shoulder problems in the past. Famously, she's playing on two partially torn labrums or labra. I know Curtis was talking about the difference. Whatever. But her shoulders have been hurt, and she re-injured it. She had to leave the game. She did not come back after leaving in that first quarter. Not entirely sure of the extent of it. She was able to come back to the game and hang out on the bench with her teammates. But we're not sure exactly what her injury is. So we're not really sure how to talk about that. We'll get into what the injury could mean for the rest of the series when we get to talk about the rest of the series. But the real place I wanted to start, though, is with A'ja Wilson's performance. I mean, we talked about the MVP needing to put up the MVP numbers, needing to be the leader of this team, and that's exactly what she was tonight. 29 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, and one of the most impressive things I've seen in the playoffs, 7 blocks in this game. Calvin, how is she able to do it?
I don't think A'ja gets enough credit as a rim protector, honestly. Hopefully she will after tonight. She becomes the 4th player to ever do that. Not the whole line, just 7 blocks. She's the 4th player to ever do that. Lisa Leslie and Brittany Griner, the first two of the best shot blockers in WNBA history. And then Jessica Breland, most recently, a couple of years ago. I think we saw angry A'ja tonight, Gabe. We talked about it a couple of days ago, especially in the last minute down the stretch. You saw a couple of those screams that she let out, after those and ones. I think that's exactly what the Aces needed.
No, I totally agree at the end. The biggest stretch for her was just at the end of the game. I mean, she got 2 huge and ones in the last minute. She was yelling, she was screaming. She got the whole team pumped. It was so impressive to see because, she is the MVP, and we have talked about her as the MVP all season long, but we also forget that this is her 3rd year, right? Like there's great players right now in the WNBA, and she's right at the head of the pack. And I think this is one of those performances that we're going to look back on and say, well, this is a what's it called? Formative, like what Harry Potter is to me.
I was going to say coming out party, probably not the right word, because she's already come out.
She's MVP.
But one of those performances, like you said, that we're going to look back on that really, career defining, maybe call it.
Yeah, I really think it might be, especially if they can pull out this semifinals matchup. And she just catalyzed them in every single way, defensively, offensively. There was times there where they couldn't get anything going. There's times there where they were struggling on defense, and every single time she pulled them back and got them going again. So stunning performance from A'ja Wilson. Not something we didn't expect, but something, as we mentioned in our last post-game report, that they needed. The Aces needed 40 minutes of angry A'ja, and that's exactly what they got. They also got some contributions from other people, though. I think the rest of the team stepped up, not throughout the game, but really in the second half they got going. Angel McCoughtry finished the game with 11 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists. Kayla McBride added in 11 points of her own. Derek Hamby also had 11 points. And they finally got some open looks. They finally got loose, helped by Alyssa Thomas not being there, but also helped by just being more aggressive. I thought they got to the rim well early on, especially with Daniel Robinson. I think they hit some more shots. Obviously, that's something that you got to account for. Like both teams kind of regressed their mean in terms of the Aces making more shots and the Sun missing more shots. But I still think that all 3 of those role players did a nice job, and I also think that Daniel Robinson did a nice job. And I think that kind of pushed the Aces to get over this hump.
Yeah, Daniel Robinson was inserted into the starting lineup actually for the first time as second time in the season.
Yeah.
But the first time was when Lindsey Allen was had that inconclusive COVID test, so it was kind of by necessity. This was the first time that it was really more of a choice. We talked about Bill Laimbeer being stubborn, probably going to continue to start Carolyn Swords whether he should or not. He did, but he was a little bit less stubborn than maybe we thought with the starting lineup at the point guard position, and I think it paid dividends. The Aces didn't want to dig themselves that hole again. They didn't want to get down early like they did in game 1. They wanted to set the tone. So they put Danielle Robinson right into the starting lineup. She took more shots than anyone except for Asia in the first quarter. She led the team in rebounds and assists in the first quarter, second in points to Asia, like I said. She was really aggressive, trying to get to the rim and trying to attack. I think that was a big key for them. And I think Bill will stick with that starting lineup.
Yeah, I wonder, I wonder if he does, right? I mean, Carolyn Swords, so everyone else in the starting lineup was Angel McCoughtry had the second worst at +1, and Carolyn Swords was Angel was +4 in the plus minus. Carolyn Swords was a +1. She had the worst plus minus of anyone in that starting lineup. She played 21 minutes. I just think that's too much. Obviously, I guess we just kind of have to throw up our hands and say that they're gonna play her, but I thought the Sun did a great job of identifying her as the weak point and attacking her and getting those mid-rangers because she couldn't get out to those mid-range shots while also Asia did a great job of now getting out to those mid-range shots while also being able to trail back to her big in the pick and roll. But Swords just wasn't able to do it. So I'm concerned if she's going to keep playing for Vegas. But overall, how'd you feel about Vegas in this game? Because I think there's a couple different ways to look at it, right? Like they did come and win that game. And that's not easy. I don't care what's happening. To win a game in the WNBA playoffs against this level of opponents with this much motivation to beat you, that's tough. However, when you look at the Sun team without Alyssa Thomas, I don't think they quite they shouldn't be able to hang this close with Vegas after Vegas gets the 1 seed and looks so great in the regular season. So overall, how were your feelings about this team?
Yeah, well, you're definitely right on both counts. We did see a lot of fortitude from the Aces, especially down the stretch. They were down in the fourth quarter, by 5, I think, and to come back in that final minute, especially they had a lot of energy. Their body language was good. They didn't quit or hang their heads. When maybe they had a few stretches that there was a run, I think, in the third quarter where the Sun made a few threes in a row. January hit one on transition to Dee Bonner. Hit a couple. The Aces didn't just kind of give up like they did in the last game. So you can definitely take some positives away from that. But you're right. If anyone from the Sun is watching this, you can chalk this up to your disrespect campaign because the Aces should not be in that position in the final minute without Alyssa Thomas. It's the 1 seed. They're the 1 seed for a reason. They're more talented, although maybe that, talent gap isn't as much as people like to make it out to be with the healthy Alyssa Thomas. I think the Sun are more talented than people give them credit for. And like Asia said after the game, no one wants to see Alyssa Thomas go down. If you're the opponent, you don't want to ever see your opponent go down like that either. But the fact that she is off the court, this really shouldn't be close. The Aces should be running away with this thing. They need some people to step up. They shouldn't need 29-7-7, a career game from Asia like that. Angel McCoughtry, she played a little bit better than she did in game 1. I still think she has to step up, only 2 points in the first half. I did like that after, one of her worst playoff games of her career in game one, Bill Laimbeer went right to her, right first possession of the game, drew something up and got the ball to her. That was her only bucket of the first half. But that shows confidence, that, hey, we're riding with you. I don't care what you did last game. Your resume speaks for itself. We're going to keep putting the ball in your hands when we need to. She had 11 in this game. I think she needs to be, in the mid to upper teens to really take some pressure off of Asia.
Yep.
And I think also Dearica Hamby is the other one who really needs to step up. She's played 8 quarters of playoff basketball now. She has 3 rebounds. So we talk about whether Carolyn Sword should start or not. Hamby obviously was the better player in the regular season. Hamby isn't putting very much pressure on Bill Laimbeer to make that switch the way she's playing in these first 2 games. I don't expect that to continue, but I don't think it can continue, if the Aces want to start really, really playing the way they did in the regular season and get it out of this series.
Yeah, I want to go back to to Angel, excuse me, because I agree. I think she's the person that needs to get going on the offensive end. Hamby, to me, she played well, but to me, the person this person that's going to be driving this offense outside of Asia is Angel McCoughtry, and we've talked a lot about her. She was 3 of 8 today, and that's just like not going to cut it. She was taking some bad mid rangers defensively. I think early on she was just getting cooked a little bit by Dewana Bonner. I think she was put in that pick and roll a lot with Carolyn Swords. What Connecticut was doing, and Kurt Miller's a great coach, right? He's someone who, as a coach, if he finds something that works, he's gonna keep hammering it and hammering it and hammering it and hammering it until you stop it. So what they did was they just put Angel and Carolyn Swords into the pick and roll and kept cooking on that, and that gave Connecticut a ton of life. So she has to be better on the defensive end, getting over screens, just being a little bit quicker on her feet. And I think she was in the second half, importantly. So I think she showed the ability to do that. But offensively, we've talked about this before. She's one of the best playoff scorers of all time. She's put up the four of the top 10 highest scoring out performances in WNBA playoff history. I think we have a graphic for that,
including number one.
I mean, she's one of the best playoff scorers of all time. This is her time to shine, and she needs to do it. So I'd love to see her get to the rim a little bit more. She did get fouled. She got to the foul line 5 times, but she just needs to have some more of those mid-rangers fall, hopefully hit a couple more of those threes, and I think it'll be okay. She is playing against Dewana Bonner, who's a tremendous defender. I think now's a good time to flip it to the Sun, as I think, I'm not sure. We're a little off, so we don't exactly know what's going on the screen. Just let you guys behind the curtain. Okay, so the graphic with Angel, and you could see, I mean, those performances are incredible. All of them with the Atlanta Dream.
Gabe, I want to make real quick before we go on to the Sun one more point about the Aces, something I would like to see, and this is actually not a challenge to Asia; it's a challenge to the rest of the team. I would like to see Asia lead the team in assists going forward.
Yeah,
if they're gonna win a championship, and that's not to say that Asia needs to be a better passer. It's to say that the other 4 players on the court need to move without the ball when Asia has the ball. Whenever the double comes, because the double always comes. Everyone doubles Asia. All 11 other teams always double Asia because she's a monster in the post. When that double comes, that person needs to relocate. They need to get open. We saw, I think, about 8 minutes left in the third quarter. There was this sequence that I thought was really important. It was right before the sequence I talked about where the Sun went on a run and made, like 3 straight threes. Asia had the ball. She got doubled like usual.
Yep.
Kayla McBride cut into the lane, right? Because her person was the one who came and doubled. Asia found her. She put it up and got an and one. She let out a little bit of a scream, which is what you want to see. You want to see that energy. And that is the kind of sequence that I would like to see more often from the Aces, and see Asia maybe get, 5 or 6 assists, because that double isn't going to work if everyone else is moving and she's able to find the open person.
Yeah, I think that's something that I've been trying to track all year, as this the Denver Los Angeles game 2 is ending right now. So if you're finished watching that, because that one's over, you can come hang out with us and talk about WNBA basketball. But I agree with you. I think she did a good job, especially in the second half. The thing that I really liked, and this is something that we've kind of alluded to, is all of the aces just played better in that second half, especially in that fourth quarter. That's when Asia was finding people on those double teams. I think that's something she's gotten better on as the season has wore on. Because I don't think last year she didn't have to deal with so many double teams because she's playing with Liz Campage. You can't double both those people. So as the season has worn on, she's gotten better about passing out of those double teams. I think that you're right. It's when she starts getting into the rhythm of that and understanding where Connecticut is sending those doubles from, that'll just open up the entire offense for Las Vegas. But they did a great job tonight. I mean, 105.9 offensive rating. They held Connecticut to a 95.7 offensive rating. So just great effort on both sides for Las Vegas. But let's flip it over to Connecticut, because to me, I know Las Vegas won the game. To me, Connecticut was more impressive because Las Vegas had a lot on the line tonight. I think they've showed the stat in the broadcast that teams that go down 0-2 in a best of 5 series are 0-13 all time in WNBA playoffs. So you can't go down 0-2. Going out down 0-2 is a kiss of death. So Vegas needed this game. They had all the urgency. Then as soon as Alyssa Thomas goes down, Connecticut could have said, you know what, it's just not our night, right? Like mentally, I obviously not going to say this out loud, but they could just have checked out and said, okay, it's not our night. We're going to come back the next night and try to beat them and get game 3. But they didn't. They hung in there the entire game. I thought they outplayed Vegas for large stretches of this game. I think Brianne January was an absolute killer. 20 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists on 7 of 13 shooting. And the mid-range, she kind of took over what Jasmine Thomas was doing in game 1, was hitting those mid-rangers, hitting from 3, doing everything for a team, getting steals, being a bulldog down the post, shutting down Kayla McBride into the fourth quarter, where I think they just kind of ran out of steam. And I was so impressed with Brianne January, and she's just one of those players who you don't have to worry about. I think a lot of these players on Connecticut is you get to the playoffs, they elevate their game rather than take a step back. So I think that was huge for Connecticut. DeWanna Bonner, 23 points on 10 of 26 shooting. She had some baffling choices offensively. 3 of 12 from 3-point. I don't think she should be taking 12 3-pointers, right? But for Connecticut, what did you see? What were the things that you thought kept them in this game?
Yeah, well, you talked about, the effort and just, plowing through, mentally when Alyssa Thomas goes down. And I think DeWanna Bonner wrote a piece in the Players Tribune about a month ago about the impact Diana Taurasi had on her career playing with her, for a decade in Phoenix, and just how she learned what it takes to compete at this level. And I think 10 years from now, one of these young Connecticut players, whether it's Beatrice Montpremier or Kyla Charles or Natisha Heidemann, going to write something like that about someone like DeWanna Bonner or Alyssa Thomas or Brianne January, because some of these Connecticut Sun veterans really just set the tone so well in terms of what it takes to, compete in the playoffs, the effort that it takes, and just not hanging your head. Someone goes down, obviously, you feel badly for Alyssa Thomas, but you got to keep plugging out there. And I think that these rookies, the rookies in Heidemann, I think in her second year, really just follow their lead, which is awesome to see. I think to your point about DeWanna Bonner, though, I saw her kind of, at first try to maybe take over the game a little bit as soon as Alyssa Thomas went out, kind of think, everything's on my shoulders now. I got to start jacking. I got to start, scoring because who else is going to do it? And that's why, we saw her shoot 3 for 12, but she settled in a little bit. She started to trust her teammates. She didn't score at all in the second quarter, the second half of that first quarter.
I agree with this.
When Alyssa Thomas went down, I think DeWanna Bonner had 8 points, which matched her game 1 total. She didn't score at all in the second quarter, though, and she didn't need to. The Sun still took a lead in halftime. So I think that was a good, that was good to see DeWanna Bonner kind of realize and come to trust her teammates, and stop just taking too much on her own shoulders. We don't want to speculate. I don't know if Alyssa Thomas is coming back in this series, though. So So they're going to have to get used to playing this way. I hope I'm wrong. I would love to see her back in this series. It looked bad though.
I want to mention one more thing before we get into what happens in the rest of the series. I think one of the things that Connecticut did excellently was beat Vegas in transition as much as possible. They had 12 fast break points to Vegas's 6, and man, they were trucking. On offense, they got some nice transition opportunities. They made the best of them, and that was obvious and crucial. But defensively is really where I noticed it, because we said it. We've said it every time we've talked about Vegas. They thrive on transition. They love being in transition. They run better than any team in the league. And if you can beat them down court, that's going to be huge for your team. And they just had people who were trucking back, led by Brianne January, led by Duana Bonner. And those people, I mean, I think really what happened in part was some of these players got tired, right? Like Jasmine Thomas played 35 minutes. Brianne January played 34 minutes. Bree Jones played 33 minutes, and Duana Bonner did not sit. She played 40. Beatrice Montpremier only played 20, and that's because she was in foul trouble the entire game. I think she gave some really good minutes as well. So energy levels were huge for Connecticut, and just knowing how important it was to get back on transition. They were selling out to do it, and that was huge, huge, huge in this game.
And
okay, now let's talk.
Sorry, go ahead.
No. I was going to transition.
Well, just the most, I think, impressive thing about, just to add to that, the transition defense, is the fact that Connecticut Sun is an offensive rebounding team, and they love to crash the glass. And even without Alyssa Thomas on the court, they still rebounded over a quarter of their own misses today.
Mm-hmm.
And it really, really, that goes back to the effort. If you're going to crash the glass and get offensive rebounds and get back on transition, people like to think that you have to trade one for the other. You can do both, but it takes a commitment and it takes effort. And that's what the Connecticut Sun demonstrate.
It takes hauling ass, because that's what they were doing. They were just, it was, I love the way Beatrice Montpremier runs, because it is exactly like someone hauling ass to get anywhere. It's just the really long strides. And she went to Miami, so obviously I love her, and I'm glad the rest of the world got to see her. But let's transition to what's going to happen in the rest of this series. So as you mentioned, we're not entirely sure if Alyssa Thomas is coming back. I don't know. I mean, if it's something that's going to keep her out, right? Like if it's a tour, if she fully tore her labrum, or broke her shoulder, I don't know about muscles, or broke a collarbone or something, then yeah, she's probably not going to play. But if it's like she dislocated her shoulder and they popped it back in, and it's a matter of how much pain she can take, she's playing, man. I mean, I'm surprised she didn't just say cut off the arm and let me go out there one-armed. So I think if it's a matter of pain management, I think she's coming back. But if she doesn't, let's plan for that possibility. Does Connecticut have a chance in this series?
I want to say no, but I feel like I'm going to get burned for saying no. I didn't think they had a chance in the game either when she went out, and they clearly did. So, if there's any team that would be able to sustain a loss like that, it is the Connecticut Sun. I still don't think so, though. I think, those last few minutes, they kind of, that something woke up inside of the Aces. And the Sun are going to be, like you said, Asia Wilson was the most impressive player, but the Sun were the most impressive team tonight in a loss. And I think they will continue to be the most impressive team. But whether most impressive translates into wins when you are a heavy underdog, if you don't have, your best player back on the court, I'm not sure if they have it. I mean, they might get another game. I would love to see it go to 5 games. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to get over the hump, though.
I agree. I mean, I think they can, right? Like they weren't tremendous in this game. I mean, 6 of 20 from 3, 30%, 44% from the field. I think what they did tonight was replicable. I'm just worried about the energy, like I mentioned. Did Natisha Heidemann get hurt? She only played 4 minutes.
I have no idea, honestly. I should know, huh? Shay, we need you.
I didn't see her get hurt. I know Essence Carson.
I didn't see it either, but
no, Dante. No, yeah, I don't think they got hurt. So interesting, because I think maybe they can they can move some things around to get some more minutes, because that's my biggest concern. I think if they can limit some minutes for their stars and have them fresh at the end of the games, then they'll have a chance. If they can't, because they're too short on the bench or they can't trust people, then it's probably over. It's Vegas I'm picking Vegas to win the series regardless, but no, Alyssa Thomas is just so tough for Connecticut. But obviously, I mean, they got the grit to make it happen.
Well, and we haven't seen the Aces ceiling yet in this playoffs. Asia Wilson played about as well as we've seen her play tonight, but the team has not. And if the Aces turn it on and really reach their ceiling, there's no chance. If the Aces continue to play, maybe outside of Asia Wilson, average basketball, then the Sun have a shot.
Indeed. No, I totally think that's true. But I don't know. I expect a little bit better of an effort because I think, one of the things that happens when a star goes down for the other team is on your team, to a certain extent, you're like, wait, like all of our plans just went out the window. Like everything we talked about, all the film we watched, everything we had in mind is now gone because one of these players is gone. And if you're obviously for Connecticut, it's a big blow because that's what you're planning for. But to a certain extent, you're just like, okay, we got to go and get going. For the Aces, it's kind of like, well, all the things we were planning to do were based on Alyssa Thomas being there, and now it's something different. So I think a day of planning, if they can know if Alyssa Thomas is playing or not, will be massive. So we'll see what kind of news we get. But hoping that Alyssa Thomas is okay, just from a basketball fan's perspective.
And
right?
For that reason, she'll probably be questionable heading into the game, Thursday night, whether or not they know she's going to play.
I would not say anything, right? I'm just going to sit there and I'll let y'all think about whether she's playing or not tonight when would it be on
Absolutely.
Thursday? Okay, let's shift over because I don't want to be up too much later. I think people on the East Coast are growing a little sleepy. So let's move over to the Seattle game. Seattle beats Minnesota 88-86 on the last second put back by Alicia Clark. A tremendous offensive rebound, crashed in from the side off a Sammy Whitcomb miss runner. If you've seen Sammy Whitcomb play, you know what I'm talking about. She had like a runner in the lane, and it bounced off. Alicia Clark was there, got the putback, and got fouled, but they didn't call it because who cares? The game clock had expired. So she was tremendous. 12 points and 6 rebounds, 3 assists in that game for Seattle. And she got the winning bucket. I mean, what else is there to say about Alicia Clark? That she does everything on defense for that team, and she does plays like that all the time. It's not just when the game's on the line. She plays like this all the time, getting those putbacks. So it was great to see her.
Yeah, if you're a fan who kind of just starts tuning in for the playoffs, and this is the first you've seen of Alicia Clark, you want to know what kind of season she's had. That about 5-second span at the end of the game. That's the type of season she's had. That's a microcosm of who Alicia Clark is on a basketball court and what she has been to the Storm in 2020. Phenomenal play, and really, really just bailed out her team, honestly, because the Storm didn't play very well the last 5 or so minutes of that game. They took a double-digit lead, and they almost gave the game away.
They certainly almost gave the game away. I think so. Outside of Alicia Clark making that play, and I think you're right, it does kind of save their butts in 2 ways, right? It wins them the game, and it kind of gets a little heat off them for what may have been the storyline here. Because as you mentioned, in the fourth quarter, they shot 35% from the field. They had 6 turnovers. I mean, it was rough and ugly there for Seattle in a way that it hasn't been all season for them in any quarter. I can't remember outside of maybe that Indiana game, right? Like the Indiana game was the last quarter they looked that bad, because even their other losses, they didn't look quite that bad for an extended period of time. I think it just goes to the Minnesota Lynx, right? Like the story to me of this game was the Minnesota Lynx really didn't have business being in this game. Sylvia Fowles was out with that calf injury that's kept her out for so long. And we're hoping that she gets back. She played in the second round, missed this first game, unclear about her status going forward. The Minnesota is not going to tell us until game time, but they still stuck around. They just stuck around all game, and it was one of those things with here we go, Miami Heat counter number 1. It's something that Miami Heat do. It's when you need to stay in contact when you need to not let go of the rope. And I love comparing the Minnesota Lynx to Miami Heat because I really want the Miami Heat to be like the Minnesota Lynx. When you need to not let go of the rope, when you need to maintain contact with the team that may have more talent than you, and you just got to stay with them, they get those buckets every single time. They get those buckets, and I was super impressed with them. So the story of me was Minnesota should not have been in this game, but they were, and they had a chance to win right at the end, and they probably should have gone to overtime, but for a great play by Alicia Clark.
Yeah, well, the Lynx are the story, and Nafisa Collier is the story to me, honestly. Like you said with the Sun, in the first game, they were the most impressive team, even in a loss. I think the Lynx were the most impressive team, even in a loss tonight. But the difference is the Lynx also have the most impressive player. To me, Nafisa Collier, you kind of know when some of those young players have really arrived when they have a big time playoff performance, especially in the fourth quarter of the playoffs, when it really, really counts. She blocked Brianna Stewart, 3 times down the stretch, yes. And she had that move, on Brianna Stewart, getting deep position, the step around to tie it on the possession before the Alicia Clark put back.
The up and under.
Yeah. And I love this matchup. Collier versus Brianna Stewart, former teammates at UConn for a year. And it's just fun to see the best player on each team go at it. Here's why I think Nafisa Collier was the most impressive player. The blocks were great and the defense was phenomenal, especially down the stretch. But she was assertive on the offensive end too. And you made this point a week or so ago that Nafisa Collier does not always, look for her shot. She's not always aggressive. And Sandy Brondello knew that. In the single elimination game, Diana Taurasi spent a lot of time guarding Nafisa Collier. She still only had 9 points. She played a great game in other respects, but you got Diana Taurasi on you. Nafisa Collier, you got to score 29 points. You can't be putting up a performance like that when you have someone that much smaller on you and that much weaker defensively. Today, she had Brianna Stewart on her for most of the game, the Storm's best defender, maybe the best defender in the league. And she scored 23. She was hunting her shot from the tip. She was getting deep post position on Brianna Stewart all night. When she caught it on the perimeter, she was looking to score first. And I love to see that from Nafisa Collier. I think if we're getting that version of Nafisa Collier for all 5 games, that this might be a series.
I think this can be a series. So she finished actually with 25 points. Our wonderful producer, Shay had the graphic up, so everyone saw it before you saw that, so they knew you were wrong.
Very good.
But and that point that I've been saying about Nafisa is that she needs to be more assertive. She needs to be a superstar. And to me, this is one of those games where you have a great player. Same thing we said about Asia Wilson. They have a podcast together. It's fantastic. And now they share that they're stepping up their games in the WNBA semifinals. Is a great player going from being a great player to being a superstar. And that happens in the playoffs. That doesn't happen any other time. I don't care how many MVPs you win. That has to happen in the playoffs. And both those players are doing it. Actually, in my notes, I put here where is it? That they basically that Minnesota needs dominant Nafisa Collier so right before the end of the third quarter, I said need a dominant Nafisa Collier to win this game. And from that point on, she scored 14 points, 14 of her 25 points there in the late third quarter, and in the fourth quarter,
which had
11 points. And shut down Stewie. Tremendous. That man, I was so happy for her because she hit those threes. She was 4 or 5 from 3. She was just pulling it, which opened up her post game. And then she just got down there and she was like, I'm going to score. I don't care. You could put Tasha Howard on me. You can put Brianna Stewart on me. You put bring whoever you want. I'm scoring on them. She scored between 3 people on that up and under play, as we mentioned. So she really showed out. And I think a lot of the Lynx did as well. Odyssey Sims had 19 points on 6 of 16 shooting. I think she shot a little bit too much, but that's part of her game, and you don't want to take it out, right? You're going to live with those bad shots. Bridget Carlton was excellent yet again. Can't believe Cheryl Reeve keeps doing this. Another Miami Heat counter, because that's very Miami Heat to take a flyer on someone and they turn out to be a massive playoff performer. 14 points, some 5 of 8 shooting, 4 of 7 from 3. She was keeping them afloat in that first half. She was their offense basically in the first quarter. And then Amira Stantis was dealing with an ankle injury and still had 11 points, 4 of 14 though. So she needs to be a little bit better. Hopefully she's healthy going forward. But yeah, Minnesota, shot 60% from the field, shot 66% from three. Excuse me, if that's in the fourth quarter. The stats website for the WNBA just doesn't register my clicks. So they shot 43% from the field, 45% from three-point land. And as I mentioned, they really stepped up their game in the fourth quarter. But defensively, we should mention, we haven't said, Lexi Brown's out of the bubble. She left. She had a concussion, and she just couldn't heal up in the bubble. So we're sending her our best out to her. And we hope that she's doing all right. But for the Lynx, I think they showed out. They showed out that they can. I think, to me, this is a prove it game for them. This was a prove that you can be in the series. Don't get blown out. And they never believed that they could get blown out. But obviously, to prove, the proof is in the pudding. You got to show that you can hang with these guys. I think this gives them a lot of momentum going forward.
Yeah, well, especially, they did get blown out twice in the regular season. And we've talked about this before. There were two teams who never came within 15 points of the Storm, and that was the Liberty and the Lynx. And so it's really important for them, I think, mentally. There's no such thing as moral victories, is what everyone says, but there kind of is, because the Lynx played really well, and they know that they can hang now. And
Right.
The two players that you mentioned, I think Bridget Carlton and Odyssey Sims are huge. Odyssey Sims, from the standpoint of being able to let Dangerfield play off the ball a little bit and take some of that pressure off it. Crystal Dangerfield's a 5'4" rookie, or however tall she is. And that's a difficult matchup against a Storm who love to, blitz you on the perimeter, love to put length on. Alicia Clark is a difficult matchup with the traps that they present on ball screens. Dangerfield, she handled it pretty well, I think, in the second half. She saw a little bit of frustrations in the second quarter, but that's a tough matchup. I think it's good to be able to spell her and put her off the ball. And Odyssey Sims can run the point for you. And then Bridget Carlton, she knocked down a lot of threes. We've talked about how she broke Maya Moore's team record for three-point percentage, as did Rachel Bannum. We also saw Bridget Carlton post up Sue Bird a few times, which I love. I love finding those matchups, exploiting them. So, maybe this isn't your strength, but it's even more of the other player's weakness. So I don't care if Bridget Carlton isn't a post player. You can't guard her in the post anyway because she has size on you. And I love that from Cheryl Reeve. I hope we see more of that going forward.
Well, I just think that's the only place to attack on Seattle's defense, right? Like, you look around, it's like, well, Alicia Clark may win the Defensive Player of the Year this year. Natasha Howard won Defensive Player of the Year this year. Last year. Brea Stewart's in the running for Depot. Jewel Lloyd's a solid defender. It's like, well, if we're going to attack somewhere, we got to attack Sue Bird because she's the 40-year-old. And I think they found that matchup, and whoever has Sue Bird on her, they're gonna get a chance to cook. I think Crystal Dangerfield, if she gets that matchup next game, has to perform. 2 of 8, 4 points, as you mentioned. They had to give the ball to Odyssey Sims. She has to perform next game for Minnesota to really have a chance. And we'll talk about adjustments.
And here's one more thing the Lynx did really well too. While you mentioned, everyone basically being good at defense except for Sue Bird, and obviously they're so good at help defense. Dangerfield's going to beat Sue Bird off the dribble. We know that if that matchup happens in game 2, but they're going to help. And they love to pack it in the paint. They love to play one pass away. To me, the Lynx tonight, what they did really well is find that skip pass, because the Storm, they'll leave that open. They will guard. It's almost I say this as a compliment. It's almost like a junior high type of a defense where you say, we're gonna let you make that 20-foot cross court pass if you can make it, and we're just gonna double the ball, and play, deny one pass away basically. And if you can make that cross court pass, then fine. It's a junior high defense with way better athletes and way better basketball players, which is why it works, and it's the best defense in the league. But the Lynx did that tonight. They found those shooters on the opposite side and reversed the ball, and they have those shooters. So if you get them the ball, they will be open on the weak side, and they will knock them down. I think they did a good job of that tonight.
No, I think they did a great job. And they also, when they had those, because what Seattle does really well is they get back to those shooters and close out really well. And Minnesota knew exactly when they were coming. So to wait, get the closeout, then attack. And Rachel Bannum actually got a few points off drives like that. And I think that's going to be open for them. Let's flip it over to Seattle, though. What they did on offense. Jewel Lloyd was really there. Catalyst tonight, 25 points, 8 of 9 from the field, 4 of 5 from 3, 5 of 6 from the line. Tremendous performance from a professional basketball scorer in Jewel Lloyd. 6 rebounds, 4 assists, tremendous game. She's going to be able to get loose, I think, in this series because she's going to go up against either Odyssey Sims or against Crystal Dangerfield, depending on who's on Sue Bird. And I think both those players are solid defensively, but neither of them have the talent level to stop Jewel Lloyd. So she could have a massive series here, and I think she's not going to be this efficient, right? Like 8 of 9 from the field's a little ridiculous. But if she's efficient and she's scoring and she's passing and getting that offense cooking, that could be huge, especially against this Minnesota team that's going to want to drag you down. And then also Stewie had 21 points, 7 of 20 from the field. Minnesota really keyed in on stopping her. She had to deal with Fee a lot of the time. And then, casual, every player, every starter in double digits for Seattle, just normal things for them. 109.7 offensive rating for Seattle. But really, I think when they got going, and what I was prepared to talk about before the fourth quarter there was in the end of the second quarter, Seattle really got cooking, and they took that into the third quarter, and they were just able to touch paint, kick out, touch paint, kick out. That's what they do. They get to the paint, get a touch, kick out to someone, and either they're going to shoot or they're going to get in the paint, kick out. So for Seattle offensively, how would you there's still things to fix, but I think they played really well offensively.
They did. I think, this tells you how good Brianna Stewart is. It sounds weird, but she scored 21 points and had 10 rebounds, and I didn't think she played particularly well by her standards, to be honest. She played, well enough for them to win the game, obviously, but like you said, they keyed in on her. Nafisa played incredible defense. And also there were a few times, sometime down the road, we're going to get to, we're going to get really good at this, where we can do the videos and the touchscreen, like a Tim Legler type of thing. And then I could show you guys what I'm talking about here. But there are a couple times when Stewie was in the post, they sent the double before the pass even came. They were looking, the wing was looking to get her the ball in, from the post entry pass. And that double came immediately. The ball hadn't even left their hands yet. Which I thought was, incredible by the Lynx. So they really took Stewie out of the game early. She didn't have her first field goal made. She had a couple free throws, but first field goal came, I think, the 6-minute mark of the second quarter. So I think that a lot of credit obviously goes to the Lynx in that. But it was interesting. I didn't think Stewie was very aggressive early. We talked about Nafisa Collier being the one who, sometimes doesn't hunt her shot and look to score. I didn't think Brianna Stewart was really looking to score early on either, which she probably doesn't need to as much as Nafisa Collier does because of the way that the Storm play and move the ball and the weapons that they have. But when, Brianna Stewart started to do that, towards the end of the second quarter, we saw her go on a little run, and that's when the Storm kind of took a lead and took that momentum in the locker room, like you said.
Yeah, no, I think that it's true because she doesn't feel the need to take over. And I think it's better in their offense when she's kind of not, because she's the best spot-up shooter in the world. There's a big difference between the way she dominates offensively and the way Elena Delle Donne dominates offensively are obviously very different from Asia Wilson. But I think just Stewie kind of is better with the ball out of her hands. So I think for Seattle, that's fine. If she's being a little, I think 7 of 20 is not what you want. I don't think that's going to continue. I think she'll be more efficient next time. And she was even in that run in the second and third quarters, she was cutting, she was flashing more, she was doing more off ball stuff, and they were finding her. To me, I think Sue Bird has to play better. 4 of 12 from the field, 3 of 9 from deep. She had 8 assists. Classic Sue Bird, right? I didn't know she had 8 assists.
Yeah, just quiet 8, no big deal.
Yeah, 11 and 8. It's a solid game, but to me, she takes some stuff off the board defensively, and you deal with that because she's super. When you want her out in a big game like this, but she's gonna need to play better for this team to put away Minnesota in the ways that they think they can put away Minnesota. And I think she's obviously capable of it. We haven't seen it too much this season. I think her knee is still a little unstable. So I don't know. Maybe in the next game, give Jordan Canada some more minutes. She only played 15 minutes. She also got nicked up in this one. And then maybe that keeps Sue Bird fresher for the end of games where you're going to need her scoring a little bit more. And then maybe you can also hide her so the other team doesn't have an easy place to attack, or an easy decision at least, to attack for Seattle. So let's make some adjustment. I don't know. I don't have any adjustments. You just want to make predictions?
Let's do it. You go first though. You could do you can make a guarantee if you want, and then I'll pick against you. So
I don't feel
your
great.
guarantee came right though. Actually, to give you credit.
I was correct.
Chuck is what it's like 13%, and you are currently a solid 1 for 1, which is 100%.
100%. 100%. I don't want to make a guarantee because I don't have one. The closest thing I could have to guarantee is I think Minnesota is going to win the next game. I don't think they're going to have a huge sense of urgency, and they're going to play like they're going to feel that they can compete with this team. They feel like they can beat this team, especially with what happened in that fourth quarter. Because to me, I think a lot of times when we see those big fourth quarter comebacks, it's like, oh, well, the other team was just kind of like dribbling the air out of the ball and didn't really have urgency and like change their offense. And I didn't see that from Seattle. I didn't see Seattle change their offense. I think Minnesota just locked down. Minnesota just said, we're going to score. And they felt a lot more confidence after they started getting on that run in the fourth quarter. So I'm going to pick Minnesota to win in game 2. I'll let you make that your pick in that game, and then we'll move over to the Vegas one.
All right. Well, I'm going to go Seattle.
Okay.
Partially, just to go against you. I do think Seattle. I
it's a good
picked
move.
Seattle in 4 though coming into this series. So I'm not sure. Minnesota might get one. I don't think they're going to lose 2 in a row. If they go down 2-0, I don't think they're going to let themselves get swept. But I'm going to pick Seattle in game 2. I don't think Breanna Stewart's going to have another 7 for 20 game. You give her 10 for 20 and 11 for 20, and this game's over with 5 minutes left. So now Nafisa Collier will have to play at that high level, as high of a level as she played tonight, for the Lynx to have a chance. I think they got as much as they could, really expect to get out of her. The way that the Lynx do win this game is if what you alluded to earlier, if they get more out of Demir Stantis and Crystal Dangerfield offensively. I think that's the way that the Lynx will win this game. I don't think they're going to get enough more out of those two to cancel out what Breanna Stewart is going to do in terms of improving her efficiency. So I'm going to go with the Storm.
Okay. I agree. I mean, I could see either way. Obviously, this is a toss-up series. I mean, this is a toss-up game.
Give us 5 of these buzzer, down to the wire games. Honestly, I hope we get some more of these. Sign me up.
I'm into it. I mean, I just think to me, Reeve is going to throw everything against the wall. Whatever's working, she's going to throw a ton of stuff against the wall. And we saw it today. I mean, I can't really discern like one single string of offense because they just tried a bunch of stuff, and eventually they settled on feed the ball and get the hell out of the way. And it worked, but we'll see. I think they're going to change up a bunch of looks, and I think it's going to give Seattle some fits. And I think in game 2 is where that can really come true. I still expect Seattle to win, probably in 4 as well, but I do think Minnesota is gonna take game 2. Over in the Connecticut series, obviously a lot of this depends on Alyssa Thomas playing or not. I'm gonna guess she's probably not playing in the next game, or she's gonna be very limited, right? Is that a fair assumption? Do you want to work on that assumption?
Working that assumption, although I'm not sure if she does play that she'll be limited. I think if she does play that I don't think Alyssa Thomas would allow herself to be limited. I think, Kurt Miller could try. I don't think he
intimidate her shoulder into healing quickly.
When you say limited, you mean physically?
Physically.
Or okay. I thought you meant minutes.
No one's taking her out of the game. No,
if she's on the court, she's playing 38 minutes is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
She's either playing 0 or 38, nothing in between.
No. She's not going to be limited minutes wise because I'm not trying to take Alyssa Thomas out of the game. Kurt Miller's a very smart man. He's not trying to take Alyssa Thomas out of the game. All right. So under that assumption of Alyssa Thomas being physically limited at the very least, maybe out, I'm gonna go with Vegas in the next game. I think they'll get it together a little bit more. I think Angel McCoughtry, like Minnesota, they found some stuff that works at the end of that game. They saw some shots fall. They'll have a little bit more confidence. And I think for Connecticut, It's just kind of like Thomas being physically limited. You're going to have to get some mojo going again here. And I'm not sure they're going to be able to do that going into game 3. But I don't know. I could. This is again. I don't feel. So I'm not guaranteeing anything. I'm not guaranteeing anything here. I think Vegas is going to take game 3. Do you want to make a guarantee?
Gabe's 1 for 1 as guarantees. You're going to quit while you're ahead. Keep your 100% winning percentage. I'm going to make a guarantee. I'm going to guarantee an Aces win. All right.
Guarantee.
And I'm going to guarantee a Dearica Hamby double-double.
Wow.
10 and
10.
Write
that down, Shay.
Write it down. We're recording this, right? This is a guarantee. Dearica Hamby double-double. I'm not going to guarantee this next one, but I do think we're going to get 20 points out of Angel McCaughtry as well.
Okay.
I think both of those two. I'm not going to guarantee that, but I don't know. 2 games in a row off nights is. I'm not sure if everything's right with her. I'm starting to wonder, but if things are right physically with her, I don't think she can. It's playoff Angel. She's one of the best playoff players in WNBA history. I talk about this all the time. She's the best player without a ring. She's one of my favorite players, so I'm a little bit biased. I really hope she gets a ring. But I think Angel and Dearica Hamby are going to step up in game 3 and give the Aces. I'm going to say Aces by 16.
We'll talk about that. I want to see the line. We don't have a line yet. When we have a line, I may take you up on that. I don't think Connecticut's
so the Connecticut people. I'm more for your campaign thing.
Yeah, we got clip. We got to clip that. We'll clip that and send it. That'll be on their disrespect wire. Even though you're the one on the show who's respected them by
I did pick them to be here. To be fair to them,
they're
a great team. It's a great franchise, and Kurt Miller's a great coach. No disrespect, but also they're going to take it as disrespect anyway. So I might as well.
They're going to take it personally.
Just call it disrespect, whether I mean disrespect or not. They're going to chalk it up as disrespect, and that's what they like to do. So that's fine. You do you, Connecticut son.
Whatever you need to get your team going for a win. And we'll see. Game 2 of the WNBA semifinals. Let me get this right as to what time. I believe we're starting at 7:30.
I don't think they've announced. Well, I don't think
they announced it in the game.
Which? Oh, did they? Okay,
yes,
they know the times, but I didn't know. Do they know which game is first? Is what I'm saying.
Oh, it's saying tomorrow because it's already 12 Eastern. It's late. Okay. Let me see this.
I'm not sure if they know. They did, but yes. I think it got.
Okay, so Thursday.
When the
Thursday
storm.
I don't think they announced it in the game
because the order switched tonight actually from what the original schedule was.
Yes. So the order switched again to go back to Minnesota, Seattle at 7:30 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2 on Thursday, and then 9:30 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2. It'll be Las Vegas versus Connecticut. And then we don't know about the rest of the schedule. So we will figure that out when we get there. But y'all, we have more games coming on Thursday. We'll probably be back with either a post-game or a pre-game show. Unclear as to what we're going to do. But
flying by the seat of our pants. We're going to figure it out, though. Before we wrap up, Gabe, National Registration Voter Day. I didn't say those words in the right order, but go vote, Gabe. Everyone else who's watched Shay, go vote. Everyone else, go vote.
There's a thing. Okay, I don't know. There was a website, and I forgot what it was. Whatever. Just Google register to vote. It's so easy. Just get registered to vote and go vote. In my home state, well, not my home state, but in the state I currently live in Virginia, we're already voting. So I'm going between now and game 3. Maybe I can do it on Thursday and wear my little I voted sticker, which is it's just like a beautiful thing of civic pride. And remember, you're not just voting for president, you're not just voting for senators, you're not just voting for congressmen, you're voting for everyone in your community. I know here in Arlington County, Virginia, we got school board members that are up for re-election. We have city council members that are up for re-election. County commissioners that are up for re-election. Virginia is very weird. But we also have a bunch of government spending initiatives that come to you as a citizen. You have a voice here in what happens in your government. So please take that responsibility seriously. Go register to vote. Research what you're voting for, and make your community and our country a better place. And if you're in Canada, good for you, man. Just like living it up. We're all jealous. Great if you're in Canada and or any other country that is doing better than the United States at the moment. But yeah, excellent WNBA action today. Shouts to Alicia Clark for making that shot. So we didn't have to go into overtime and delay this any further. So y'all have a fantastic night, and we'll be seeing you likely on Thursday, but we'll let you know on Twitter. Follow us on @HerHoopStats. Follow me on Twitter @Gabe_Hebrew. Follow Calvin on Twitter @CWetzel31. And you can follow Shay @WNBA with Shay, our fearless producer.
And we're still looking for her secret account. So if anyone finds it, let us know.
It's on the DL.